Hello, truth seekers. Welcome to Heal Yourself Therapies. Today I'm going to talk about the concerns that we all have about and what that means. And I'll talk to you in the next part. Let's start talking about the fact that the people are revolting. We are revolting. And I don't mean that in a horrible way. I mean that in a wonderful way. Never underestimate how many people are waking up. There are legions. We are legion. We are waking up to so many things. And everybody's waking up in their way. Everyone's waking up based on the things that interest them or the things that are confusing them, because remember that we're living in a world of confusion and lies, and so suddenly people are realizing that things just aren't fitting together the way that they should. And this is what's waking people up, apart from the fact that we're going through this big universal change, an increase of vibration, which is also waking people up. Add to that all of the extra help that we have above us and all of the help that we have here on earth. So from many different angles, we are being woken up, and that's brilliant. And because of it, people are revolting. Okay, people are not standing up for this anymore. Now, I'd like to use an example of the fairy story. Okay, the bedtime fairy story. Now, what happened to us was that we were told, society, the media, politics, the government, the cabal, whatever you want to call it, used to tell us a fairy story, and we would listen to it, and it would lull us into a deep sleep. And then we woke up. Now imagine waking up, and imagine somebody saying, no, I know you've woken up, but let me read you a fairy story. And you say, no thank you, because it's daytime now, I've woken up, and I'm ready to live reality. I'm ready to start living reality. This is what's happened to us. This metaphor of awakening means that we no longer tolerate the fairy story that was told to us. That was to get us to sleep. Now we're awake. And so we are anti-fairy story. And this is what's happening. The people who are awakened, what happens is the media stops having power over us. The narrative stops working because it's a narrative. It's a story. And it doesn't work with us because we're awake. We want to live a life of awakened people. We don't want to go to sleep. We can't go to sleep. And so the fairy story doesn't work on us, okay? So we don't have any patience. And so what's happening is the people who are revolting are taking their feet to the street. Now, again, you don't see it on media because why would they ever put that there? But all over the world, people are taking to the street. People are going out frequently. And do you know, I heard a lady talking, from Ireland, who was giving a talk in Dublin, and she was saying that the UK now is the centre of the revolution. Now, this wasn't the case a while ago. The UK was very silent and very quiet, and now it's erupting. There are businesses all over that are moving to common law, that are refusing to open the doors to the police. They're refusing to talk to the police. They're refusing to accept the fines. They're saying that they do not stand under the law. Okay? The maritime law, if you want, they stand under common law. And this is happening all over. People are taken to the streets, and you hear them over and over again saying, that is not law. It's a regulation. I stand under law. The common law. What's the common law? It's easy. The common law is easy. I do you no harm, you do me no harm. And under that is under that umbrella, it is everything. Really, it's we heard the common law. Common law was written in the Bible. Do unto others as you would have them do to yourself. Yeah, that's it. That's common law. And so you've got all of this happening. And obviously the police are coming under a lot of criticism because they're asleep. They're in a coma. They're in the coma. And all that I was talking to them upstairs, and they were saying all that we need to do with the police is understand that they're in a coma just as all the other comatose people are, but they're in a coma and they're also dangerous, and so we've got to treat them always with respect and treat them like we would treat if you were picking up a poisonous snake or a tarantula. You wouldn't just put yourself in danger, and so they're saying just don't put yourself in danger with these people. But these people are asleep. These people are in a coma. The police force, just like everybody else, and so we shouldn't judge them any more than anybody else because these people are in a coma, and they'll wake up. They'll come out of the coma when it's time. Now, that brings us on to what's happening at the moment. Now, man, is the media circus going crazy over? Dun, dun, dun. They're loving it. And it's worrying a lot of people. It's worrying a lot of people because what they're seeing is this train wreck coming toward them of, are they going to make it mandatory? Are they going to make it so difficult to live without it that we're just going to have to end up having it? Okay? Now, what's really important is that you must understand that the media, and when I say the media, I'm talking about social media, networking on the internet, is all owned by the same people. They have armies, and when I say armies, I literally mean armies of people whose job it is to work every day on the internet, spewing out propaganda. They have people whose job it is to create false accounts and to go in and comment on everything. Here in Spain, the president has people who create Twitter accounts so that when he says we're going into lockdown, the first 100 comments are, and yes, we are so pleased and we're so happy that you are taking care of us. Yes, we need to lock down and we need to stop people who are not locking down. All of those comments are false comments. These are paid for comments. Now we know that they actually then inspire other people to say, yes, well, actually I'm in agreement. Okay? But when you start looking really at what's happening, so we've got all of this false spewing out of a propaganda machine, all of this false agenda that's being pushed. And we think that that must be what people think. This is the problem that we have. When you see it on the news and people talking about, well, should we mandate it or not? Well, perhaps we shouldn't. But what we'll do is we'll make people who can't go to work unless they have it. All of that is there. It's the media circus. It is being generated. This is not people who are genuinely interested. These are people who are paid to say these things, to promote the agenda. The same as when you see comments on anything like that. Now, there was one video that I saw where they were talking about it, how wonderful it was going to be, and yet all of the comments, apart from the very obvious ones, and I'll explain what they are, the very obvious ones were all negative. So what you must understand is, even though it's worrying, even though it looks like everybody's on board with it, that's absolutely not the case. We are, how I would see it, I think that we are around about 35 to 40% awoken in the world. About 35 to 40%. And then we have this 20, 25%, 30% group. And that group are the twangers. They're the people who have woken up to some level. They know that something is wrong and they don't like it. but they don't know what it is because they've done zero investigation. Now, they mightn't have time to do it, they mightn't be motivated to do it, but they know that there's something wrong with the narrative. All right, so I think that we're probably making up around about 70% of the world are like that. You know, the people who are definitely awake, the people who've just woken up, the people who are like, wait a minute. And then you've got this small group of absolute believers, the people who have bought into the cult. These are cult followers, these are cult members, and it's the cult of our modern day society. It's the devil's cult. It's a cult of Satanism, if you want. But the cult members don't know that. Just as any cult member doesn't know that. They've been indoctrinated. They think that this is the right thing. And so what I see happening is this. There is a tremendous pushback against this. Right? Why? Because of lots of reasons which I don't even want to go into. Do your own investigation on that. It's just horrific. Right? It's horrific. And at the end of the day, it does nothing. It doesn't do anything. It's being sold as being something that's going to save mankind. And when you actually look at what they're promising that it can do, it's nothing. It's alleviate some light symptoms. That's it. Alleviate light symptoms. My friend sent me a list of the levels of how they're rolling it out, because they're rolling it out in the UK, rolling it out, okay, in the UK. And she said, I'm in tier 6, okay, which is people who've got some other conditions. And I looked and I was in tier 9, which is the last tier. And I said, I'm in tier 9, but I don't mean number 9. I mean 9 as in the Germans say, which is no fucking way. No, 9. Okay, so that's the level I'm in, and that is the level that most people are in. And watch out for the surveys. The surveys that they're doing, they're starting to manipulate them because they've done them before. And you know, we were looking at 70% of the people that were saying, no way, absolutely no way am I going to put that in my body. So do your due diligence. Make sure you know fully and completely what's in that vaccine. Said the word, I'll take it out. What's in that, and you know, that's fine. So what's going to happen? What do we see happening in the future? What I see happening, and I'm talking about the near future, I'm not talking about the distant future. I see that the group of cult members is going to get smaller and smaller. And it's going to become more virulent and more angry and everything. That's what happens with cult members. They all feel that they're being attacked. And we are going to be the great crowd. We're going to be the majority. All saying no. And the cult members, the cult followers, will take it. Come on, give me it. Yeah, I'll have 2. 2, give me 2. Okay? They'll do anything that they're told to do because they're cult members. They've been indoctrinated. And that's what will happen. They'll do anything. And that's okay. Let them do that. But that group's going to be really small. And we're going to be really big. And there's power in numbers. There is power in numbers. And all that's going to happen, and I know I keep saying this, but this is so important, and it helps to keep you upbeat, is to know that there is no road back to going to sleep again. Once you're awake, you're awake. And so our numbers can only grow. They can only grow. They will never get smaller because it's a one-way journey. Awakening is a one-way journey. And so we're constantly going to be more. So really, you know, let's look at this in 2 ways. We need to be active in this. We need to be active participants in the Great Awakening. And also, we need to be confident that this whole facade, this whole parody, this whole pantomime that's happening of really bad actors acting out is not forever. It will end. And we'll go back. We'll go forward. In fact, we won't go back. We'll go forward to a new, beautiful reality. A normality that we've never had ever in our memory, in our genetic memory. Which is a beautiful time of peace, long-suffering and kindness and goodness and faith and love and unity. That's where we're moving to. And I know that's coming. And how do I know that's coming? I know that's coming because some time ago I was told that it was coming. And some beings came and said, help us get this message out of good news, of a great awakening. And so I feel confident. And what I do is I take that knowing that I've got, and then I look at what's happening and I do my investigation, okay? And I spend most of my time investigating what's happening. And what I see is confirmation of that. And yes, I see the horribleness going on, but I tend not to look at that because I'm not interested in it. I know what, why would I bother looking at what the devil does when I know what it does? I know what it's all about. Why pick over the bones of the carrion? I prefer to look at where we're going. And I know we're going to somewhere beautiful. And I understand that it's worrying and that we want it to happen straight away and that we want to see something tangible. But there's a lot happening. There's more happening than you would ever begin to imagine. And that's going to start to become visible soon. We're going to start to see this happening. Okay? So, there we are. In the meantime, we keep ourselves safe, we take it easy, we don't do anything silly or radical, and we withdraw our consent. Remember, this is all consensual. They can't mandate the vaccine. In Argentina, they've just unmandated the vaccine. Why? I've said the word again. I'll have to take it out. Okay. Why have they done that? Because this is a land of free will. This is a world of free will. If they force us to take something that is going to take away our soul, that is going to create a non-person, then they have forced it on us. We have to consent. And this is, if you look at common law is common law is the law. Anything beyond common law is consensual law. You must consent to it. Otherwise it has no value. It has no force. And that's when you say, I do not consent. That means you are moving into your sovereignty as a human. Your human sovereignty. I do not consent to that. Okay? And so, you withdrawing your consent takes away the power. Well, it's exactly the same with everything that the baddies want to do to us. We withdraw our consent. We say, I do not consent. And then if they force that onto you, then you have withdrawn your consent. So it can't affect you. I think that's what I'm trying to say is, they can't hurt you if you do not consent, no matter what they do to you. The damage is done when you consent, when you say, yes, please give me this, please give me it, because I believe everything you say. That's when you have compromised yourself and compromised your spirit and your soul. When you say, no, I do not consent, and I never will consent. You are in your power. You are in your power as a person, as a spirit being. Okay? And that's where you stay. And the more of us that are moving into that place of power, into that non-consensual place, the stronger we become. Until they've got nowhere to go and nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Until we are legion. And we're getting there really quickly. Okay? Have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Bye.